In the scam home warranty business, the people are represented by two separate but equally lazy groups: the authorization agents who deny claims and smoke like chimneys, and the technicians who lie through their teeth to snag a few extra bucks. These are their stories. The Philly cheesesteak debate and the senile microwave. The text came in fast and angry in the group chat. "What's wrong with you, dude? Like you've never tried it? Why are you so weird? Dude, seriously, grow up." I responded candidly: "Mushrooms, peppers, and onions have no place in a cheesesteak. I appreciate the offer, but I'll order one myself if it's such a hassle." A thumbs up and two middle finger emojis was my only reply. I sighed, opened up DoorDash for the second time that day to order my own lunch. By the time it arrived, everyone else who had ordered before me were literally still quibbling over paying each other, while I unwrapped my plain Philly cheesesteak and tore into it while taking calls. The phone rang. "Scam home warranty, the Mad King and Queen here. Got a claim for me?" The tech responded, "Yeah, it's claim number." "Are you at the house still?" I asked. "In the truck outside," he replied. "So we got a microwave, right?" "Yeah. Are you ready for the diagnostic?" I told him to go right ahead. The tech replied, "It's 11 years old. We got a GE. Here's the model and serial number. It is mounted above the range." He continued to answer all other 12 questions we ask on a microwave claim. "Okay," I said, "I got it. What is the failure today?" "The control board is dying," he said. "It will heat when it wants to, but sometimes it just randomly cuts out. The buttons themselves are fine. I'm pretty sure the magnetron is fine too, but the board is what's causing it to glitch or something." I asked him if he had a part number on the board. He replied with the part number, saying he can get it for $140, but he would need an hour and a half of labor at $80 an hour to put it in. I responded, "That's not a bad price, but we're going to buy it out most likely." The tech responded candidly they'd prefer it bought out anyway. I replied, "I'll just pull the trigger and they'll get a call with our offer soon." The tech responded he would be billing us out for the remainder of his diagnostic and he was on his way out the door. I told him to have a good one. The tech responded, "You too." And thus the call ended. I wrote in my note task to customer service: "Call customer and inform in order to provide a long-term solution to the issues the microwave is having. Scam Home Warranty has determined it best to provide customer with funds towards the purchase of a new unit in the sum of $179. I put in an internal off note for the customer service agent to read not out loud but to themselves: "This is a cheap unit. It's on its last legs. The basic buyout is our best call." The conclusion of the claim is that that was the fastest customer service buyout call in the West. The frozen treat and the microwave mystery. I should have bought popcorn and peanuts because Auth feels like a circus today. Two new guys didn't show up. It's 105 degrees in Phoenix, and my order of green tea ice cream from the Chinese place on the other side of town was half melted and coated the bottom of its container in more cold slime than a sales guy's waterbed after being drained. The twisted taste of bitter tea and creamy goodness mixed unhappily in my palate as the next call rang a song shared by half the desks in the wing right then. I answered, "Scam Home Warranty, the Mad King and Queen. Have I got a claim here?" The tech asked me what I was talking about. I apologized. "Do you have a claim for me to work on today?" The tech asked me if I was having a stroke. I told him I wish. The tech responded with the correct number and told me to take my time. I asked him if he was the appliance tech assigned to the claim, and he responded he was. I asked him if he was at the house. He told me no, he had just left and he figured we weren't going to cover the claim, so he didn't want to waste his time. I asked him if he had the rest of the diagnosis, and he did. Pulling over on the side of the road, the tech pulled out his invoice with all of the information he needed while I took a swig of water and another bite of ice cream. So we have a GE up there. We got the model number right here, and the serial is there. It's about 12 years old. Here's the rest of the information that we ask on a microwave. After finishing putting in the diagnostic, I asked him what the problem with the microwave was. The tech told me the buttons weren't matching up. I asked him if he could explain what that really meant. He said that you would press the defrost and the timer goes on, but the add 30 seconds button does nothing. The only thing that works is the button to open and close the unit. Everything else is mismatched for some reason. I asked him if we had any physical damage on the buttons. Perhaps they're worn off from age. The plate might be melted or something. He told me no, this is purely electrical in nature. The buttons themselves are working fine. I asked him what the fix would be, and he said that we could put a new control board in there and it should work. I asked him if he had the part number for that control board, and he said, "Oh, I hate to do it to you, but could you look it up? I didn't even try and find it on my own. I'm too behind schedule, and this unit's way too old." I told him I'd put him on hold for a second and I'd look it up. Putting the tech on hold, I booted up our suppliers page, punched in the model number, and had the control board in a second or four. I put him back on the line. They don't even make this thing anymore, but when they did, it was around 150 bucks. I'm not putting that much money into a unit this old. I'm just going to buy it out. The tech said, "Well, that's why I left in a hurry." I asked him if he could give me anything to kill the claim with, if there was an obvious denial I could use instead of the buyout, and he said the inside is kind of dirty, but not that dirty for a unit that old. I admitted that wasn't enough to kill the claim with, and I would offer the customer a buyout then. The tech said, "Hey, not a problem on my end. You have a good one. I'm sure she'll be happy with the new unit." With that, he hung up, and I wrote up my task to customer service. Call a customer and inform in order to provide a permanent solution to the issues the microwave is having. Scam Home Warranty has determined it best to offer the customer funds towards the replacement of a new unit in the sum of $149. Internal off note, do not read. I typed at the very bottom. Cheap unit, but ancient, can get away with such a low buyout. The conclusion of the claim is, of course, that customer took that buyout as soon as they could. Also, on my way home, I went over to the Asian market a few towns over to grab a tub of green tea ice cream on my way home, leading to disappointment. I don't know how it is hibachi places make it perfect every time or where they're getting it from, but I'm all out of ideas because the green tea ice cream I find in the store is terrible. I have no idea why. The militarized microwave and the creme brulee. A couple of years ago, Cold Stone did a creme brulee ice cream flavor, which remains in my mind the single greatest ice cream I have ever tasted. It had such complexity to the flavor, it made me happy in ways I knew for a fact couldn't be replicated anywhere else but a kitchen run by a gourmand of epic size and perversion. So that week or so, I made it my duty to stop by every single night on my way home. This being the winter, I was told by the girl behind the counter that they were discontinuing it, and I bought the last one I would ever have the pleasure of eating, leaving it mostly untouched in my cup holder, as it would stay cold overnight to be my co pilot in the morning. With sweetness and sadness still fresh upon my lips, I walked into the office in the morning and got back into the swing of things. About 2 hours into my day, when the queue started getting serious, a call came in from DC, and I put the tech on in a hurry. Scam Home Warranty, the Mad King and Queen here. Got a claim for me? Yes, it's claim number. I ran this last night, but I told the customer you deny it, and she's already called me twice since then, so can we get it done in a hurry? I asked him if he had the rest of the diagnostic with him, and he said he did, telling me it was a Whirlpool, about 4 years old, giving me the model serial, and answering all 12 questions that we ask on every microwave. I asked him what the real failure was as they're filling all of that information out. He said, "Let me just send you a picture. What's the number for the Google phone again?" I gave him the phone number, and he said he was going to text it right over. A moment later, I received the text message, and I attached it to the claim. Opening the picture, I saw a terrible sight. This microwave was beyond repair. The front glass was cracked up the middle, the buttons were worn away so badly you couldn't see the numbers anymore, and the back part, where the time would be displayed, was missing, and the button was smashed in at an angle. "What the hell happened to this?" I asked him. The tech responded, "Some teenagers happened to it. You could tell just the second you walked in that house this place was getting trashed. I didn't know what they did to it exactly, but from the way the paint on the inside was coming off in big strips, they tried cooking something they shouldn't. Probably more than once. Looks like there was a webcam set up by the fridge too. So maybe it's some stupid challenge thing for some modern version of Jackass." I responded, "Yeah, that's not normal at all." The tech replied the lady just had the longest face. I hated to do it to her, but there was no way to try and cover this thing. Can you hurry up and give her the bad news? I responded I'll tag somebody specific in customer service to get her handled. I wrote out a denial to customer service reading as follows: call customer and inform not a covered claim. The microwave has failed due to arcing confirmed by technician on site. Arcing is not a covered failure per C6. An internal off note read, the kid put a pot in the microwave, killing it. After I had long forgotten about giving a monster to the new auth rep, I was reminded a little bit later. You see, he decided to put the monster in the freezer in the break room, not the refrigerator. But he did not come back in time to stop it from exploding. The entire inside of the freezer was coated in green goo, and several people's lunches were ruined. He did not get in trouble for this, as far as I know, because he simply feigned ignorance of the event, and HR wasn't too concerned about pulling the camera feeds. Quite frankly, there were 3 guys in off that day who could do that small job in their sleep, so the freezer was defrosted and cleaned out by maintenance people and back in action the very next day, ironically in better shape than it had been in years. Good kid, by the way, got his off button very quickly, but just as quickly had it taken away due to having a high average off. The red velvet cake and the bloody microwave. I don't know whose birthday, anniversary, retirement, engagement, 2 days of sobriety it was, but I did know there was cake in the break room when I came back from lunch. I didn't think twice before grabbing a slice the size of a tiny plate and rushing back to my desk. Other auth guys saw my slice of cake and ran into the break room to do the same, leaving technicians talking to dead air in the process. The tinge of frosting that remained upon my lips where the phone rang yet again was the last thing that made me happy until walking out the door some 6 hours later. The Mad King and Queen here. Do you have a claim for us to get started with? Technician responded with the claim number, telling me they were still at the house. Okay, I said, what kind of make, model, and serial do we have of the unit? And the tech responded with the appropriate information, answering all 12 questions that we ask in a microwave. The tech continued, telling me that the unit was not evenly cooking, but it also looked like something out of a horror movie. I asked him how this was, and he told me that, oh, it is just covered in blood. I asked him how this came to be, and he responded that the inside is covered in blood, the outside has some dripping out the door, and there's a streak on the front of it that looks like somebody took a Brillo pad to try and clean it and gave up. I asked him again how this happened, and he told me that, well, this is a big residential family, lots of kids. The parents said one of the younger ones tried to cook something and they failed miserably. Apparently, they took 4 or 5 pounds of frozen meat, put it right in the microwave, not even on a dish or anything, and instead of defrosting it, just cooking it on high until something inside exploded or the blood leaked everywhere, boiling until it covered the inside and leaked out the front. I asked him if he could fix this, if it was purely just a dirty microwave, and he said, no, the blood got into the door itself and shorted out the control board, and now it won't turn on at all. I asked him if he could give me a part number on the door, assuming that the control board and the door were the same piece, and he said yes. He gave me the part number, told me that his guy could get it for $200, but the unit would still need to be cleaned after that, and it really wouldn't make sense to put a $200 door on a microwave this cheap, and also that it was a zero collect, so he would need authorizations for the service call fee. I read out the technician authorizations for a service call fee in the sum of $70 and informed him that I would be denying the claim from there. The technician thanked me for the time, said good luck with that denial, and went on his way. I wrote out the following denial to customer service. Call customer and inform not a covered claim. A cooking accident caused the board to fail. Per A2, that is not a normal failure. My internal off note to customer service read the inside and out were covered in blood. Kids trying to cook had ruined the unit. The customer ended up arguing that the microwave had no blood in it and ended up going to retention, threatening to cancel the policy over this denial. Retention asked for a picture to confirm that there was no blood on the microwave, and the customer then admitted that there might have been some blood before hanging up. Therefore, the denial stuck. just like the blood, the monster in the freezer, and the extra crispy microwave. It's Pi Day, March 14th, and not one tech I've greeted with as such has returned the favor. But that's not got me down because I bought a 12 pack of Monster at ShopRite the night before and an icy from Burger King, so I am in sugary caffeine heaven all morning. The rain outside is threatening to turn into hail, but never does, which saves us a bunch of roofing claims. I just got back from a smoke break outside, where I was hiding underneath the awning with a dozen or so other folks, when a new guy in Auth begged me for a monster, seeing the one in my hand, and I obliged, but he immediately complained about it being lukewarm. So I suggest he put it in the fridge, and he ran off to do so. My line rang with a call from Virginia, and I put the tech on, who blurted out the claim number. Pulling up the claim, I asked him if he was the Alex Handyman of Norfolk. He responded that yes, he was driving away from the customer's house as we spoke. I asked him if he had the rest of the diagnostic, the model serial, and the other 12 questions we ask on every microwave. He said yes, he did, and continued to read. This is a 10-year-old Whirlpool unit, giving me the rest of the information. Okay, so what is our failure on the unit? I asked. The apprentice told me, okay, I'm going to hand you over. It turned out that the entire time I was talking to the apprentice, not the technician. The technician responded, okay, we got a couple things wrong here, but I think the main issue is that the unit is fried out of commission. I asked him if this was due to arcing, and he said, yes, there is no possible way it could have failed that way otherwise. I asked him what gave it away as arcing, and he told me that they got one of those really nice pots, like from Macy's or wherever, and it's got the emerald signature thing on the corner, and half of its black part is just coming off in clumps, and the whole kitchen smells like death. I asked him to clarify. So somebody microwaved this pot, killing it? And he said, well, I mean, it was probably their kid. I didn't see the kid in the kitchen at the time, but they had a bunch of those kid proof things in there, and the customers didn't seem like the type to make that mistake on their own. Also, the bikes on the garage outside clued me in that they have more than one kid in the house. I told him I could kill the claim from there because we had a clear exclusion for arcing. He told me, hey, that was great, thanks. I don't care that you killed the claim or anything, but do you have anything else in Norfolk for me today? I told him to give me a moment, and I pulled up our dispatch screen. Looking through it, I said, I have an oven with a bad burner on it over in Norfolk. Do you want that? He said, yeah, sure, go ahead, send that over. So I dispatched a claim to the technician, and he thanked me for it once I heard a ding on his end, and we concluded the call from there. Typing up, I tasked the following note to customer service. Call customer and inform not a covered claim. The microwave has failed due to arcing confirmed by technician on site. Arcing is not a covered failure per C6. I put an internal off note for the customer service rep to not read. Kid put a pot in the microwave, killing it. The conclusion of the claim is after I had long forgotten about this claim, I was told a little bit later about it. It's very warm out despite being only late April, so I decided to grab an iced coffee from the refrigerated section of Quick Check instead of my normal hot coffee. They had a special on Starbucks for buy one, get one free, so I grabbed two and headed on into the office. Sometime around 11 a.m., I felt the creeping feeling of fatigue grip me in the middle of an extensive claim involving a dishwasher that will end up being bought out, but not before the tech and I argue for a while on whether or not it was a recall or a misdiagnosis in the first place. I pop open the second coffee while the tech yells in my ear and almost immediately spit it out. I thought I was grabbing two vanilla coffees, but the second one was actually a mocha, despite being on the same shelf. It took a split second for my mind to register that I was just tasting chocolate and not rancid expired coffee, and I laughed at myself for the moment of terror and confusion. The text stated that they would call back with their boss on the line to sort out the issues, and I happily moved on to the next caller from Arizona. Scam home warranty to Mad King and Queen here. Got a claim for me? The tech responded, yes, here's the claim number. I'm with Lacey's Appliance Repair and Service. I said, okay, so we have a microwave, right? Are you still at the house? The tech told me they were outside in a van. I asked them for the model and serial, and they responded with the model, serial, and all the other information we asked on a microwave. I said, okay, so what is the failure today? And the tech said, there was no failure. The unit is working fine. I asked them why the customer called it in the first place, and the tech said, oh, they want you to clean out the microwave. I said, well, that's not going to happen. And the tech responded that, oh, they were adamant about this. Even if you deny the claim, they're going to fight it. So I asked them why we needed to clean the microwave in the first place. The technician responded that this is a sublet or maybe an Airbnb or some other rental agreement. But one of the folks in there cooked up some fish either the night before or that morning, and now the whole kitchen stinks. They're really upset, and the landlord can't seem to get it under control. Well, I told them that I could kill the claim with just that information. We don't clean microwaves, it's not covered. The tech responded, all right, I think that's not going to work out, but we'll see what happens. I asked her if she knew how to get the smell out of the microwave in the first place, and they responded that you can microwave some lemon extract in a bowl of water and then hit the inside with some elbow grease. It might take some time, but it would clean out the microwave and get it back to the way it's supposed to be. I asked if I could have a quote for this cleaning microwave, and she said it would be $80 an hour for 2 hours, but also added that I wouldn't even run this claim if you did authorize it because I can't stand the smell of fish. I responded I was in the same boat, that I could not stand the smell of fish either. The technician told me that the customer did not pay the service call fee in person, but instead the landlord did over the phone. I notated the claim appropriately and told her I'd be writing up the denial and telling the landlord as soon as we could. The technician thanked me for the time. We went on our way. I wrote up the following tasks to customer service: call customer and inform not a covered claim. There is no mechanical failure. The unit requires maintenance or cleaning, both of which are excluded per F3. Internal off note: do not read. The customer microwaves stinky fish and wants us to clean it out for them. The result of the claim is that while the claim did respect. And thank you for joining us for our first video from the Scam Home Warranty YouTube page. We have hundreds of these stories to choose from on the subreddit linked below. If you would like to follow us in other social media, please do so. We have a Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and Discord that you can join, follow, or subscribe to in addition to this channel. If you haven't already done so, please ring the bell so that you don't miss any scams in the future. Go ahead and share this with your friends, family, coworkers, and acquaintances who might have recently gotten a home warranty, are considering getting a home warranty, recently purchased a home, are considering purchasing a home, or just anybody who enjoys stories about scams, grifts, and cheats. We got a little something for everybody. There's so many stories to choose from. I'd like to point out that we do have a Patreon. If you'd like to become a member of the Scam Home Warranty family in a more direct way, you can become an employee for just a single dollar a month that gets you in the door. Also, special thank you on Reddit to user So What Of It with 3 T's at the end for sending me the webcam and getting this all right off the ground. Couldn't have done it without you. So, big thanks to all of you for coming by and hope to talk to you more in the future and share more of these stories. Have a good day.